All right, today we are talking about hair loss, especially for those of you who have had lupus in the past. But this also pertains to women or men, but mostly women who are experiencing some type of hair loss. So I remember way back when in the day, 12 years ago, when I really started to lose so much of my hair, and I would wake up with just clumps on my pillowcase. And it would just make me cry and cry and cry. I mean, it was really just a devastating thing for me. And I'm sure for a lot of you out there, I know exactly what you're going through or have gone through. So a couple of things that I want to talk about. It's a huge topic. There's so many things to look at when you want to look at blood work. But one of the things that's really important is if you are in any way, shape, or form iron deficient, so you have some type of iron deficiency and you've had your blood work checked, or maybe you haven't had your bloods done yet to check this. But if you do have lupus or you've got some kind of chronic illness, having anemia is pretty common. So one of the things you want to do is get a full iron panel checked. And there is a huge correlation between iron deficiency, anemia, and hair loss. But I also believe there's so many different things that cause hair loss in people who have lupus or chronic illness. And a lot of that has to do with it creating a issue with vitamin deficiencies, hormone imbalances, and that is what creates healthy and strong hair, is when you are not only eating the right things, but you're also checking them in your blood work, because if you are a little low, using supplementation. But there's also another caveat to that, is if you have a lot of vitamin deficiencies, what actually is going on? Why are you having all of these deficiencies? Is it just because you're really not consuming the right things in your diet? Or is it that you have something called leaky gut or intestinal permeability? This is something that I check on all of my patients, and I can tell just by their numbers, I can even tell by the cholesterol if they are having issues with permeability. Now, this happens so much in people with chronic illness because we tend to be on so many different medications, and medications alone can cause permeability. Over-the-counter medications, NSAIDs, Advil, Motrin, all those things, as well as really potent, hardcore meds that you may be on that's helping to control lupus. So for me, it was just a combination of things. I mean, there were so many things that were not really caught when I was first diagnosed. All of my hormone imbalances were not caught. All of my vitamin deficiencies were not caught. And at one point I also didn't know, this is before I became gluten-free, I had no idea that I had a severe gluten sensitivity. So these were all things that I had found out on my own after doing my own testing, and it's just something that you have to be aware of for yourself, so you can also be an advocate for yourself when you go to your doctor and say, hey, look, check my iron panel. So I talk about this and talk about so much more in my upcoming book. Have you heard of it? It's called From Flare to Fabulous, 25 Things You Must Do to Avoid Your Next Lupus Flare. And one of them is, we talk about vitamins and also about being gluten-free. So if you want to check that out, and the pre-order is up right now. I'm really excited. It's www.margaretromero.com/pre-order. And if you have any questions about anything, I'd love to hear from you. Is there any questions about lupus that you want me to answer on here? Anything at all, because I will talk about anything. Okay, well, until next week, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one.